hypergamy is like the way that life is now because of how ease of abundance is and how comfortable people are. They've created basically like checklists for people.
Dating fails because you want something, but you don't actually need those assumptions or biases based on your past experiences. Know what you want and what you need, and then make sure these two things align.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Khun Interview. I'm so excited to have our guest here today. They're actually a matchmaker, and not only that, they have created their own app with AI to help match people in this lonely, single dating world. Please, ma'am, introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, I'm Claire. I am a matchmaker, but I also build an AI True Vibe, which has been around for more than 1 year. And I live in Bangkok.
So, can we get a little background? What is it that actually made you want to become a matchmaker?
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, a lot of founders started their own company because they want to solve their own problem. Same for me. I tried so many dating apps myself back in Singapore, but nothing worked. I thought there has to be something good enough. That's why I decided to build it.
Do you see an issue and you're like, let me just go ahead and solve it? Even though at first it's just for yourself, now you've already spun off and now you have, I don't want to explain everything because we just had a conversation, so I know a little bit more. Please, for the people's sake, can you explain actually how did you get this from an idea to actually implementing action to now you have a product and now your product is starting to gain more and more traction? How can you explain that process?
Yeah, I like the saying like everything happened for a reason. So back in Singapore, I had many years of experience working in the corporate, in the IT industry, but I was in the HR function. I was doing recruitment, I was doing corporate branding. So I knew how to interview people, like we know psychology, we know behavioral patterns. I knew whether the candidate came to my interview because he really wanted a job or he was just fishing for information. But when it comes to dating, this kind of rational judgment just turns off because dating is so emotional.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, that's why I always failed with so many guys. And if I know behavioral framework and I know how to ask the right question to find out people's motivation for job, I can do the same for dating. That's why I thought maybe AI can help me. And coincidentally, I was attending an AI pitching event at Microsoft Singapore office, and I was one of the only two ladies in the room out of 100 people. So I remember this lady, Julie. She's in charge of Microsoft Founders Hub for Southeast Asia.
Shout out to Julie.
Yeah, shout out Julie. So she actually came to me and asked me, so why are you here? I said, I have some idea as well, but I don't have time or resources to build it. And then she said, pitch me, I'll give you 2 minutes. I did my first pitch to her randomly, but she said, I like your idea. Maybe you should apply for the Founders Hub. So that's how everything started. I started my application, I got into the program, I got some credits from Microsoft, and even through Julie, I met tremendous mentors and experienced people. So yeah, I'm very grateful.
That's so beautiful. Like, I love the way you tell this story too. It's like it was yesterday. Yeah. It's like, I feel like I'm in that room when you're like, it's 100 people and you're the only two in. It's like, yeah, I'm up there in the corner watching everything. So now that you've actually went from idea to now you have a product, what has been like the biggest thing that you're focusing on currently when it comes to from launch to, of course, success and blase. So like, where are you at right now?
I think there's so many dating apps in the market, right? People always ask me, what is that in your app is so different? So I want to focus on quality, sincerity, authenticity is something I always follow throughout my product journey. Yeah, and also it's my business philosophy. Yeah, so right now, actually we have launched our first MVP April last year. It's like 1 year ago when I was traveling in Tokyo and Prague.
Whoa.
Yes, so I was hosting matchmaking events. I was testing this methodology. I was asking people dating questions, which I later implemented into my AI. But because I followed exactly the same framework to test it with real people during those dating events, my users give me so many good feedbacks, and I even managed to match a few couples through those events.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, and I've also signed up for this because I'm like, oh yeah, I want to see how this goes. You know?
Really? Cool.
So I've actually, to give a little backstory, I've actually started my own process. I'm going to be writing a book. It's called Augment Your Approach.
Oh, great.
So because a lot of dating apps, right? Because we're like fishing in a pool, right? What is it that makes you stand out? Obviously, it's your profile, right? It's your photos, it's your bio, it's everything in between. What else are you looking for? You know, are you communicating that within the bio so you can filter out people that aren't resonating with what you're looking for? And even when you get the match, how do you stand out? Because I mean, for me as a man, as most men, we're getting the message that says hi or hey. And then from there, it's like the girl's just throwing it out there so we can leave. She's not even trying. She's just like, hi. What's she going to say back?
I've heard a lot of similar complaints from men. I also heard lots of similar complaints from girls, you know.
And fellas, if you're sending, hey, bro, like, what are you doing? But I've gotten the idea, right? You take the profile and you take your profile and you give it to the AI, and it's called Augmenting Your Approach, because what is it that they're looking for? What is it that you're looking for? What are the blind spots that you can't see, but the AI can? And on top of that, it has pattern recognition. So it's like this girl versus this girl. Which one is more likely for you to be successful with, right? Because you're doing matchmaking, so you already have profiles on people. So you can already see like, maybe these two are gonna get along. So
maybe like Black Mirror and the DJ, that episode you're talking about?
That's an episode?
Oh yeah.
You're teaching me something.
It's about dating simulation. Something very close to what you said.
Yeah, and honestly, you know, before we get off on a tangent, because you say Black Mirror, and it's like, how many times has Black Mirror made an episode of something and then like that thing is like almost one-to-one to something that comes out? It's like, it's crazy. But I've noticed within dating, and this is why I like your product. At this point, because so many people are like in attention economy, everybody's on Instagram, everybody's on these social medias, you know, I don't know when the last time you went on a date, but if you were to go on a date, like say next week, the person that you're going to go out with, they probably can look at every single thing about you from that third source. They can see your Instagram. They're okay, she likes this, she's hanging out with these people. And that automatically gives them a false interpretation of who you are, even though it may be very similar because they're seeing it from source. They come in with a dating mindset that it's not traditional or natural. Like if you go out on a date, you're supposed to get to know somebody versus I already know so much about you.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I would discourage people from doing social engineering before going for dating, because I rather hear or know this person from what he tells me face to face, rather than third party data or sources or random pictures I see on Facebook and Instagram. Because people naturally form assumptions. And a lot of times assumptions are biases based on your past experiences. That's why I feel to meet a new person, the best way is to just go in the date without knowing anything and just feel at the moment. Are you happy with this person? Do you feel good vibe, good connection? Are you able to talk? Can you be yourself, like a real self? You know, instead of analyzing all the data points, how much he's making, how tall is he, what's his education background? All those things are actually not always good distractions, I would say.
There's so much we can talk about, but I want to actually ask you, what is your perspective on hypergamy? If you were to list everybody from 1 to 10, right, from least attractive to most attractive, and it's not just based off looks, right? It's status, it's power, it's everything to make you go higher or lower. Hypergamy is due to like the way that life is now, because of how ease of abundance is and how comfortable people are. They've created basically like checklists for people. It's like they don't meet this checklist, X. But with hypergamy, it's like everybody is going for the top 10%.
I see.
Even though they may be down here, they're not going for what's really more realistic or something that could be on the vibe. You know, what is your perspective on that?
Everybody have their own unique situations. For example, I'll just speak from my own experience or my own perspective maybe. I think I have reached a stage whereby I don't need a man to provide for me. I don't need a man to kind of entertain me or provide me a lot of emotional support. For me, I can drop a lot of these things you mentioned on the list. You know, his income, whether his top 10% in terms of income, or in terms of education, or in terms of whatever availability. For me, I'm really looking for someone who just accept me for who I am, and also vice versa. I accept him for who he is. He can be interesting in many ways. He can be talented in many things. He can be rich or doesn't have to be rich. So for me, this kind of the score doesn't score I mean by societal standard doesn't really matter that much to me. But I understand for other people, maybe they still have some financial needs, or maybe they're looking for a particular resource in something. So I wouldn't want to judge them. But the most important thing I want to say is know what you want and what you need, and then make sure these two things align. Because a lot of times dating fails because you want something but you don't actually need them, and what you actually need the person cannot fulfill, so you always match